What's up, brother? It's your boy, Mike Muse. Welcome to the Conversation, the Mike Muse Show. I am so excited to be in conversation with my next guest. She is a returning guest on the Mike Muse Show. And as we were discussing, I don't know if I am fan first or friend first, but I met her as a friend. We are alums from the University of Michigan, where she's got her doctorate degree. Shout out to her. We were just talking about you, Dom. Over the weekend, I went back to Michigan, and we were talking about the speech that you gave when you got the honorary degree. I've known her for so long, and I am been impressed with her work even our sophomore year when she wrote her first play, sophomore junior year, The Blackness Blues. And I went backstage and I told her, I said, you are going to Broadway, and me and everybody else. So I didn't have any special indication. When you see her work, you just know it is so profound. And that's why she's a MacArthur Genius Fellow. I could go on and on about this dynamic, incredible playwright who had 3 boards up at the same time on Broadway, 2-time Tony nominee. You see why she's, I don't know if I'm fan or friend, but ladies and gentlemen, the incredible, the talented playwright and just dope human being, Dominique Morisseau. What's happening, friend?
Hey, what's happening, Mike? How are you?
How you feel?
I'm good. I'm good. Listen to you talk about that. It's so funny. You be taking it all the way back.
I do. And I'm always going to remember that time. I literally went backstage. I'm going to say this every time we do an interview, so just get ready for it.
Yes.
Like she wrote this incredible play, Blackness Blues, which is actually timely of today when you think about
Yes.
it, of the subject matter.
Yes,
It's
work be doing that.
Yeah. It was a subject matter about reproductive rights and,
Yeah.
and abortion.
That's right.
And I remember just sitting in that audience, and I saw some sniffles from some of our female friends that were in there. And I remember just, I think for the first time, Don, that was when I actually saw, we never talked about this, but since we're here, this is the first time I think I saw art in action, being able to move people in a very personal level. And there were some people who I knew had to deal with that choice
Yeah.
at that time
Yeah.
who actually were in the room.
Yeah.
And that's when the first time I felt it from an emotional standpoint of view, just as a human being, watching your art being before them stage and seeing how art can have an impact on people directly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's, and it doesn't stop, I mean, we were joking that art does that, like it just keeps coming back around. But like, I wrote a play 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and all of a sudden, somebody said something crazy on a debate stage, and all of a sudden it feels like this Haitian story now is about that. And I'm like, no, it's not about that. I don't write for that,
Yeah.
I write for me and for my own stories, but they just, time just has a way of aligning with narratives and making them more important than we might have thought they were initially. So, it just goes like that.
I'm going to go back to something you taught me at an early age. We were either back at Michigan or coming off of just graduating from Michigan, living in New York, but you said something very profound. I use you as an example often, and you said that the power of art and television in particular, you leaned into TV, and you said it will let us know whatever is on now will let us know what society is prepared to handle 10 years from now.
Oh, yeah.
I think generationally things have changed, so it's kind of truncated that time period, but I really remember you saying that.
Yeah.
And I think that holds true to this piece of art that you just created.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, she is here to talk about her new Broadway play, Bad Kreyol, which is about the Haitian immigrant dynamic and tale, and we know what's happening right now with this anti-Haitian rhetoric that's happening. But I think that tunes into how you're so attuned to culture, society, and what makes you such a dynamic artist. I think part of that is being an empath, right? And just being able to write what's happening, what you feel. And it just so happens that we are now talking about anti-Haitian and anti-immigration dynamics.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a heavy anti-Black, anti-immigrant, anti-Haitian. And, growing up, I'm not very, the whole anti-Haitian stuff is so not new to me, nor is it new to any Haitians. I mean, if Black folks have been second-class citizens, and then, Caribbean and African diasporic folks have been third-class citizens. Haitians have always been fourth. Like we're almost like, in the perception of us is that we're sort of like at this bottom of this like welcome immigrants to this country, And I've always felt that way. I mean, my father was like a mathematical genius. My father was Haitian. He moved over here when he was 10. And when he was 17, 18, he took his math SATs and got a perfect score. But, because he didn't speak, fully. He spoke the language, but he had an accent. And because, he was Haitian, they didn't believe him. And they made him take it again. And my dad got a perfect score again. But like we're just used to being like, undervalued, the lack of expectation around us, and underestimated, And so I think that there's I say it's nothing new doesn't mean I like it or I'm cool with it. It just means that I'm not rattled when it happens because I've been dealing with that my entire life. And I think right now, I happen to have this opportunity to tell a Haitian story that I did not set out to write, to have it go up in 2024. I actually went to Haiti 10 years ago with my dad, after the earthquake, and I went there, to try to write a play. It was the first time I'd ever been with my father to his home country. I'd been there when I was a baby, like a toddler, with my grandmother and my aunt, but I hadn't been there with my dad ever. So 10 years ago, me and my husband and my brother and my father went to Haiti, kind of took this like pilgrimage together, and I went there to write a very different play, And then when I got there, so much stuff happened. I had to deal with being like this, like Black American in Haiti, like I don't look like nothing else that Haitians look like while I'm there, And so I stuck out like a very sore thumb, and I had broken my toe. so I was on crutches in Haiti, there to write this play. And so much happened on that trip, and so much happened with my connection to my father's homeland that it took me 6 years before I actually got that play out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it the 6-year process because of it just took you 6 years to unpack what the experience was?
Yeah, I think I think I went there with a different expectation, and then I kind of got like my whole world rocked. I went all over the country. I went to visit. I went to the most affluent part of Haiti and the most impoverished part of Haiti, I went to what people don't know. We kind of deal with it in the play, but like I went to Haitian Hollywood, where I'm just around, like I went clubbing in Haiti, That was an experience with a broken toe. But, and then I just, but I also went to like the beach town, which is like Jacmel, and I visited institutions and NGOs, non-government organizations, And I learned a lot about what Haitians feel about NGOs. I learned a lot about different organizations and different conditions for different tiers of Haitians. I just learned so many things that it took a long time for me to like. My trip both inspired me and sort of traumatized me around like what I thought I knew about myself and my own culture, and it just took a while to get out of my imposter syndrome and write the play of my people.
That's a lot to unpack, all those different variations. And even you talking about it right now, those are things that we don't even think about when it comes to Haiti. I didn't know Haiti had a Hollywood.
No, nobody does.
Haitian Hollywood.
There's a very vibrant little, like, right now it's a conflict, But yeah, there's a very violent, elite Haitian class that people don't even think about or know about.
I want to unpack a little bit further because you said something really interesting about the Haitian POV on NGOs, and I'm just curious if you don't mind sharing what is that opinion dynamic of it. And the reason why I asked that is because Dominique just mentioned there's a conflict happening right now, and what the United States has decided to do is to partner with Kenya in order to send money to Kenya in order to have their soldiers come to Haiti to kind of help resolve the conflict. But I was talking with a Kenyan who was still living in Kenya and doing the NGO type work, and he told me his frustration that they have with the United States government, right, and wanting to swoop in, and the reason why they are more akin to working with China, because they feel like China sees them more equitable than the United States. So I'm just curious then with that thought process of that through line of the United States funding, helping to support the Kenyan army, then to come over indirectly to support this Haitian conflict. What did you garner from the Haitians' thought process on NGOs?
So for all the do-gooder, hope that I think some people who get involved in NGOs have, what's happened, I mean, when you talk about the Haitians' relationship to NGOs, that goes back to a lot of like old relationship between Haiti and the U.S., which is sort of embodied in my play. But that this whole dynamic that they never get the money. I mean, Raoul Peck has a film called Fatal Assistance that really talks about that relationship between NGOs and Haiti. I mean, during the earthquake of 2010, that's when it really popped, right? That's when everybody knows, like, the Red Cross did not give that money that they were supposed to give. It was like all these people around the globe, saw all this catastrophe happening in Haiti and wanted to help and support, kind of like how you felt about Katrina, and they wanted to do something, and then none of that money made it to Haiti, none of it. None of the infrastructure, none of the houses that were promised to be built were built. And that is Haiti's experience of NGOs, that they say they're giving you all this money and they don't. Or they come here. And when I was there, that's when I really heard it from Haitians directly. Even though I visited some NGOs that I would support possibly, there are some that I would not, but I understand how Haitians feel about it, which is that they come here. They we say we have some kind of expression of this in the play. They come here. They take over our land. They are the bosses. They hire us. They make the big money. We make none, or we make them little money, and they tell us how to build on our own land. So it's sort of this. It is a little bit of a critique on Western imperialism and what it means to go to countries to help. You're never really helping without wanting something, but there's not a acknowledgement of the things you've already taken before you come. Everybody thinks, oh, we're just we're humanitarian aid workers, and we're just coming to give, but we're going to give our way and under our rules, and we're not going to care how your government and how your people are governed normally, or what infrastructure you want to have in Haiti. We're going to tell you what kind you should have, and that's not really helping. And that's what Raoul Peck's film Fatal Assistance unpacked, and it's also this lack of trust for Haitians, like they can't handle their own money. And it's racist, it's anti-black, and it's anti-Haitian. So this idea that they can't handle their own money, we have to route their funds in different ways. That's why none of that promised money from all these NGOs during that earthquake made it to Haiti, because they didn't want to give it to Haitian politicians directly, or on the ground Haitian activists. So nobody got this so-called relief.
Do you think that, and I'm trying to connect, as you're talking in my mind, I'm connecting the dots of not wanting to be collaborative with the Haitian citizens to itself. I think that's really the heart of what you're saying.
Yeah.
And do you akin it to how people see Haitians, how you described it earlier, like
Absolutely.
fourth on the ladder, on the ring of immigrants. And if you don't
And
see people
corrupt
as
and-
whole,
yeah.
then there's no need to partner. You can be more custodial with them.
Absolutely. I write a lot about Detroit, because I'm, Detroit on my mother's side and Haitian on my father. And there's a lot of relationship between Detroit and Haiti. And I don't think anybody that isn't split between those two dualities like me will see it. But Detroit, I call Haiti the Detroit of the world, right? It's a very black, political, conscious place. One is a black political conscious city, one country. One has radical black political thought. Both of them have that. Both of them have rejected a sense of like oppression and a sense of like white supremacy rule in their city and country, and it has made them enemies to the state, to the country, to the world. And so when people look at Haiti, they honestly, they haven't forgiven Haiti for being the first black nation to fight and win its independence, and there's been like a Western punishment to Haiti because of that.
I was going to go there. Do you think that is what it is attributed to?
Absolutely.
I think there's a cause and effect for everything, and I think for them to be that powerful and that dynamic, for them to be the only one to have fought back and to survive, I've always wondered if there was like this begrudgment towards Asians, and then therefore we must vilify those who are strong because we don't want them to become stronger of a dynamic. And it's so interesting now that you just mentioned that, because in this current news cycle that we're in, where everything's anti-everything, anti-Black, anti-DEI, anti-Haitian, anti-immigrant, you have the former President Trump mentioning Haitians are eating dogs and cats in Springfield, but then he also too admonished Detroit recently at a rally while he was there, and said the country's going to end up like Detroit. So the fact that you come from both dynamics of Detroit and Haiti and just beautifully outline the comparative analysis of both sides really gets to the heart of just how not just America, but this westernized view of Haiti and Haitians and Black revolution and Black economics and Black political power space.
Yeah. And it's funny.
That's really interesting how that weaves in just so perfectly like that. And I say perfectly satirically.
I know, but like it's weird. Or like, so I have like a cast right now. So my show that is at Signature Theater right now, we open tonight, actually.
Congratulations.
And I have a cast full of Haitian-American actors. And that is unheard of in the theater. And so because of these disparaging comments, and it's not new that we're disparaged, but because they are so fresh in our imagination, we know when we're going out in front of audiences, that's on their minds. So what a bully does is make everybody have to react to their bullying instead of them being able to lead with their own identity and own consciousness and let that be how they are received. Now they have to sort of react to somebody's accusation onto them. And now they have to think about representation of themselves and be constantly under a gaze that is oppressive to them. So my Haitian-American cast, who are so excited to do this show and to tell this story, have had to have the burden of representation on their minds while they're doing the show, or have the burden of and the fragility to come out in front of an audience and they don't know what kind of hostility that audience is going to have toward them and their Haitian identity on that stage. So it's been we've had to build sort of a protective bubble around ourselves in order to do this work, because it is a hostility toward them. Even to have that kind of stuff said, people can't be free to be openly Haitian. The Haitians in Springfield, Ohio were under attack after those comments. So while I feel like, hey, no big deal and whatever, this is nothing new, I'm not hurt. My feelings are certainly not hurt by some foolishness. But I have to think about, but I am not in the fragile place that some of my fellow community members are, or fellow Haitians, where they have to deal with that and face violence because of that lie.
Dominique, I thought you've always, and I'm kind of been enjoying this this word du jour, if you will, permission structure, right? And we're going to use that until the wheels fall off, until this election cycle ends, right? But what I've loved about you is that you've always had a permission structure with your art, and in particular, in giving the audience permission to emote and to express. Audience, I think at Dominique's plays, yours was the first one that I've seen. I've seen people do it subsequently after, but because of you, obviously, where you would write a little insert in the playbill and say, you have the permission here to laugh, to scream, to yell, to emote whatever you're feeling through any expression. Because oftentimes in theater world, things are supposed to be polite society, supposed to react, but you gave audience members permission to be their authentic selves. I'm just curious, from how does that work when your actors and your cast? Like, is there a permission structure that you give, that you're willing to share? Because that is such a vulnerable place, because your constitution is strong where others may not be.
That's right. I do have a pretty strong-willed cast. I'll say that too. Very proud. 4 out of 5 of my cast members are Haitian, and then we have 2 covers, 2 understudies who are also Haitian. But I do think that everybody, they know who they are. When people know who they are, you really can't. There's nothing you can tell them about themselves that's gonna change. But I do think that we have had conversations together as a company to say, it is not your burden. It is not your burden to correct myths about you. You don't have to do that. It is the job of the pseudo myth maker and anybody who wants to believe that to correct their own information. It is not your job to correct somebody's it's not your job to validate or prove your humanity. That is not your job. And so we've all had to sort of give each other that permission, because even though it is fragile and vulnerable, and we are making art and we are offering a big offering, I'm very vulnerable in this particular production of Bad Kreyol, because the name of the play is Bad Kreyol. And the reason why I'm super vulnerable is because, one, I speak bad Kreyol. And I spoke bad Kreyol when I was in Haiti, you know, and I had to sort of humble myself to Haitians to just sort of be messy and bump up and say, I'm not, you know, I'm Haitian, but I'm about to mess this up, y'all, you know, and get permission in some ways to keep trying and to keep messing up, but to keep trying. And I think that's what the permission is that I give my company. You can keep messing up and keep trying, but you are safe in your artistry to be your full unrestricted, and in the case of the Haitian-American actors, because that's what the play is asking you to do, be your full unrestricted Haitian self. And you do not have to qualify your language or anything else. So Kreyol is spoken in this play. The play is not written in Kreyol, but there are moments where the characters speak Kreyol, and they can just speak it themselves, you know. I've also been asked, you know, because a lot of people call the play Bad Kreyol, like Creole, because people, you know, in English we associate Creole language, like in Louisiana and like Haitians and like, you know, or like Jamaican patois. And so I've been asked often, why is it not Creole? But that is not the correct way to say it in Kreyol. So when you are speaking Haitian Kreyol, it is Kreyol.
That's a lesson for me because I've been saying Creole,
yeah,
right? And I was like, oh,
sure, of course, because you're saying it in English, but if you're saying it in Kreyol, it is Kreyol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we get the naming right. I was sitting next to a lady recently, and she introduced herself, and she said, Claudia. And I was like, oh, it's good to meet you, Claudia. And you know what she said to me? She was like, wow, you actually said it right. And she said, it was respectful how you said it. She said, imagine if I called you Mick, right? And imagine how you would feel. I was like, oh, I totally imagine that. That's why words matter and names matter. And so I think it's important that people get it right to be reflective of the provenance of what this is. I think it's very interesting, audience, that I'm going to step out of the creative and art world. I think a lesson Dom just taught us just now is you don't have to shoulder the burden of a community or a culture. Like, so many of us do that. I remember for a while I was playing this respectability politics where I felt like I had to be the model black out in public when I walked, right? And I had to get rid of that years ago, but it took me a while to kind of get rid of that burden, right? Of having to be a representation for all, right? And so I think, audience, that's a lesson for all of us who are experiencing that respectability politics, wanting to carry the burden for a whole community or culture or whatever entity that you represent, that you don't have to do it, right? It's not your burden to carry. I don't think we talk about that often, but I find very powerful. We're not going to put it on camera, but Dominique's mom is here, and I think it's so powerful that you are here, Mr. Morisseau. I just wanted to say congratulations for you and your husband raising such an incredible human being who has given us such incredible art. And the reason why I say that, audience, is because Dominique wrote a beautiful piece in Vogue magazine, and in one of the instances where she had to experience the anti-Haitian rhetoric was when her mother took her to a college seminar in Chicago, and in that piece you talked about how you felt at the joke that he made about how anyone would want to go to that hellhole, which is Haiti, and how you felt, and then you wrote a letter to him in response to that. I'm just curious, is that when you started to develop that agency of Haitian exploration, Haitian advocacy? I mean, you've been around it, you come from a household of that, but to actually put pen to paper, was that the first moment?
Yeah, I mean, Haitian advocacy is a stretch for me. I don't think I knew what was going on. You know what I mean? Well, I know I'm Haitian, you know? I know my daddy's Haitian. It took me a long time to realize, because he's Haitian, I'm also Haitian. I get to call myself Haitian.
Oh, wow.
You know, I always grew up like my daddy's from Haiti. You know,
wow,
not like I'm Haitian. I didn't have that agency over my own identity. That's
fascinating to itself.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, a lot of folks, especially immigrant folks, when they raise first generation kids, they don't raise them like you are this. They raise them like you're American. You know, and so we have to kind of always go back and then start to go, wait, no, let me do my own math. I am this, you know? But I mean, and there's reasons for it. I mean, I understand why it happens. But to say that when I heard someone say something disparaging about Haitians when I was a kid, and I felt really unfairly smacked by this man. We paid money for this man's book, and we're at his seminar, and he said something disparaging about my people that I felt like, what in the, like, WTF?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I turned to my mom and said, I was, what is that? Why he can't talk about us like that. And then she said, then you should say something to him. So I started to write because we were in the middle of the seminar, so writing has always been, now that is something that's always been my, like, I guess my mode of transportation. But it has always been the way that I can, like, express what I'm really trying to say and what I really feel, and make sure I get it out the way it's intended. So I started then. I was about 12, and I just wrote him a little letter.
Shout out to you, Mom, for recognizing the power and impact of doing action besides just being frustrated and being angry. You encourage your daughter to do something about it. And I hope parents who are listening will be able to take that lesson learned. And if your children is feeling something, and to do something about it. And so I salute to you for that lesson learned that hopefully people can do. I'm looking right at her mother audience. For those
my
of
mom
who
is
are not.
like, not the one to be talking on mics.
Her mom's like, I'm not on that camera, but it is.
Right.
It's so special. I think when a parent can be in their room with their child doing their art, I think that's really brilliant. Dom, I want to know about the play and what it's moderating, right? Because audience, I'm going to see it in a couple of weeks. I cannot wait. I know the premise is about two cousins who go to Haiti together. But what are you hoping that this play moderates?
Well, so the play is about two cousins, one Haitian-born and one American-born, and they are brought together at the dying wish of their grandmother to reconnect. And while they are there, their dynamic as two cousins is kind of carried out in the same way that they sort of like carry on, that they're the micro. The macro is about like Haiti and the U.S. and that fraught relationship. And so that's embodied in these two cousins and their world politic and views. And they're having a hard time connecting to each other. And it's about, what things they can learn from each other and what things can fall away in order for them to recognize their familial connection. But in that, I think what the play is really exploring is again, like what imposter syndrome looks like. It is exploring what it feels like to be stuck in between two identities. So anybody that experiences that, whether they're children of immigrants, which so many of us are, or whether they're in some kind of way caught in some binary or another that they don't want to be caught in the middle of, this or that, that this play is exploring, that it explores it in the cousins' relationships to their like culture, but it also explores it in the idea of the LGBTQ community and like what it means to not be able to be your full self in your own country, because the same rights and protections that people have in the LGBTQ plus community here, they do not have in Haiti. And so we look at the privileges that are taken for granted, the American privilege that's taken for granted, and also the what it really means to stand in your identity, fearlessly stand in all of the ways that you are, against all of the binaries that you are, to be able to fully stand in who you are, and own that and have no imposter syndrome about that.
How much does language play into that?
Language is deep because there is obviously the spoken language. So that we speak 3 languages in this play. 3 spoken languages, which is Kreyol, French, and English. So, the play is written in mostly English, but there are moments in which the characters go in and out, or they do a smush in what I like to call Crafranglish. So they speak a little Crafranglish in the play, and but then they also, what happens between the cousins in particular is that not only do they have a language barrier of the spoken tongue, they also have a heart language barrier. They do not speak each other's love language, and so they are missing that part of it. So language to me, I remember when I first started listening to Kreyol educators and activists, Kreyol speaking activists, there's this idea that was said to me one time by a friend, that to love a people is to learn their language. And when I went to Haiti, that was my goal. Like, I have to learn some Kreyol. I love these people. I need to learn their language. But I think that is true not just for the spoken language. So to love a people is also to learn, for instance, their pronoun. Or to love a people is to learn their, which way their love language, which way their heart moves, and try to find like the common ground. Because if you love a people, you'll learn. If you'll try. If you don't love a people, that's real clear too.
Mm-hmm. So love is also too, as they say, is a verb.
Yeah, love is a verb. Yeah. It's absolutely a verb. It's an action, and it's a spoken tongue, and it is also an unspoken tongue.
It almost goes right back to where we started this conversation, which is where people see Haitians at the bottom ring of the immigrant narrative. And to where we got to with the NGOs dictating what is best for Haitians, because the love actually isn't there.
Because the love language is not there.
It's not there.
It's too much language barrier, And I'm a big advocate in allowing people's language to be the language of the day. This is gonna sound, it's a controversial thought, but I'll share it. It's especially controversial to like sitting next to my teacher mama, for instance, who corrected my grammar throughout my life, right? And which is great, and that is one language, But a lot of times people are worried about kids right now. Like, kids can't read and write. We think, they don't even write full sentences. They don't know how to write in cursive anymore, And I go, well, they can read. We just can't read what they writing. You know what I mean? They can read. They can put 15 acronyms together. Like, they can write, more than like WTF. They can like WTFGHIQWSTL. And you're like, they understood everything that meant.
Yep.
I see that, and that looks like, gibberish. That looks like another language to me. But they are creating a new language. And the scary thing about the new language is that we won't be able to speak it. So we're going to tell them that's not the language you should be speaking, because I'm afraid to learn your new language, right? And I'm not saying that I'm not advocating for kids not to be able to write in whatever I guess is standard English. I think the more languages you can speak, the better. So, don't you have to get rid of a language to start a new one. But I do think that we are worried about them not being able to talk to each other. We're worried about them not being able to have good language that's going to basically ultimately get them hired or get them to be able to, be successful in life. But I'm like, if they change the language of the day, then they will be able to speak that and put that forward.
So that's not controversy at all for the Mike Muse Show.
Right.
And we, audience, I'm sure you're smiling and listening to this conversation right now, because Dominique, last weekend for the Mike Muse Show, we just had probably someone who's been on the Mike Muse Show as many times as you have. I like to have my favorite reoccurring. I probably should not say it.
Squad.
I probably shouldn't say it publicly, because I love all my guests. But the other one is Jason Reynolds. I don't know if you know him, but the young adult author. Reynolds. And so he is my favorite young adult author. And so every time he has a book, like every time you have a project, I like hunt y'all down. Like, you're coming on. I don't care what the schedule is, you're coming on. Yes. But Jason and I always talk about reimagining education and what reimagining should be. And he just wrote this wonderful book. And one of his taglines, he says, Black boys should have love stories too, right? And I thought that was just so beautiful. But he and I often talk about language and words and having the right educators who understand like this culture now in order to teach and connect. So your point of view is absolutely not controversial here. We salute and support that reimagining of education to bring people in. And then, as you said, and I love that, teaching another language doesn't replace the other, right? You can do both. And if you can do a language with just the letters to get them in, and then you can teach the proper English, whatever that means, right? But hook them first, right? And that's all about the reimagining aspect of it. So not controversial at all. Audience, you see why I love Dominique Morisseau, and I'm sure you guys are all fans now. And help me understand. Hit me up at I am Mike Muse, MUSSAME, if my friendship is blurred. Am I just a super fan, or if I am still on the friend level? It's such a blurry language, because I can't tell you enough how much a fan I am of your work, and how much you challenge me, and how much I learned from you constantly. Audience, I've only missed one play ever of Dominique, and
do you remember what it is?
I don't remember. It was the one that I keep saying it is the one that you did at Lincoln Center years ago.
Pipeline.
Yeah. That's the only play I've missed of yours, a Pipeline. Audience, I have drove to like deep Jersey to see these plays.
So funny.
I've been in like attics before Dom was on getting Tonys on Broadway. There was this other little studio space in Lower East Side you had. It was about education. And there was just a few of us in there, right? And I was like, nope, I'm going.
That was a little festival. Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Pipeline.
I don't miss nothing.
Pipeline is actually one you can see, actually, because that's the only one of my plays that has been filmed for the archives, for Lincoln Center's archives. So it's actually been filmed by PBS, and it's on Broadway HD. You can get that through like Prime.
Oh,
like
I can see it
Prime.
Now.
You can see it.
I can correct the record.
It did like a little tour of in theaters and everything, like film screenings, and so it's out there if anybody wants to see Pipeline. It is out there on Broadway HD, where they have like other Broadway shows on Amazon.
I could not wait to do that now, because I can say I've seen 100% of your plays now. That's always been bothering me. That's the only one that I haven't seen.
Oh man, we could have fixed that a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. I didn't know. Audience, please, 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 please. As you can tell, this play is just rich because, excuse me, if you listen to Dominique and what we've been talking about, her constitution, the agency, is just so strong, right? When it comes to the understanding of the complexities of Haitian history and being Haitian, and then also to coming into your Haitian identity, right? Yeah. And so I can only imagine that's all being worked out on this play. I'm going to attempt to say it for the first time correctly in back Kreyol?
Yes.
Did I get it right?
I'm going to say the whole thing, just so you know how to really say all my name, audience, and the play. Because I'm going to tell you my name in like the real way. Yeah. Not the way I've said it all, my life at school. People were calling me the wrong name at school, but it's fine. It was always, but it's Dominique Morisseau.
Oh my God. I've been saying it so wrong.
And since you brought up.
Oh my God. Decades later, I can even correct it.
Everybody I go with the school says my name wrong, but it doesn't matter. It's Dominique Morisseau. I'm sitting here with my mama, so I had to do it like this.
Dominique Morisseau, I've been butchering it this whole time. Audience, this is more than a 20-year friendship. Oh my God.
I can't. What can you do in a 20-year friendship but accept that? But listen, it is Dominique Morisseau, bad Kreyol. And if you say it how you say it, we will accept you.
Thank you for accepting me and loving on me all these years. I'm such a bad friend.
You're not a bad friend.
Our other friend that we know, Benicia, now she goes, she's cousin.
She's cousin.
She's been cousins the whole life.
People think you changed your name. It's like, they be like, oh, now she want to be Morisseau.
That's what I said to Benicia.
I'll be like, no, you know what? Now I think I feel like I need to start saying my name correctly.
You and Benicia are the same person to me now. That's what I said to her. I said, you moved to New York now. You want
to change your name, girl.
She said, Mike, that is my name.
I just finally want to say it correctly. I feel like I owe it to my father's not here no more. I just want to get one of these right for somebody. Yes, I know. But
oh my God. Yo, I've been checked on my own show, something cold by one of my oldest friends. I apologize. I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry at all.
Oh my God.
I've been all the things. I'm still Dominique to so many people. You stopped calling me Dominique so many years ago. I accept it. You call me Dominique. That's the best. That's the one.
Oh my God.
Morisseau just messes a lot of people up.
You have to give me grace, because
I'm gonna give you much
that's
grace.
That's gonna take me a while to.
Let me say something about this. Actually, since we talk about language, I also feel, while I feel like to love a people is to learn their language, I also feel like to also love a people is to recognize when a language is being tried, and how hard language is to learn, and how late it is in life to learn new languages is really hard.
Friend, I'm a certain age
now.
No, right?
No, I mean that. I'm not just talking about you and me now, but I mean that for real. Like I think people, there's the other side. Like when you can't learn that fast enough, that new language fast enough, there's a lack of grace. Especially for elders that aren't getting it fast. And you know the difference between someone that's trying and just can't get it, and someone who's not trying at all and doesn't care. And I think we put them too much. We put them all in the same boat, and they're not in the same. So some grace should be given on all sides. Of learning a language is hard. I butcher my Kreyol, and I'm asking for grace, Haitians. I'm asking for grace because I'll butcher it all day. I mean, it's not to this day. It's not a language I can. If you start coming to me talking and speaking in Kreyol, I'm gonna be like, there's a funny video about this on like Instagram or TikTok, or like when Haitians start speaking Kreyol to a non-Kreyol speaker, or like a first generation. It's like wait. Slow down. Wait, hold on. Let me write this down. For me, I can actually read Kreyol better than I can hear it or speak it. I can read and write it better because that's how I learned it. But for old school, it wasn't even a written language. You could only speak it. You did not have they were making people learn French in school. So the colonization of Kreyol is similar to the colonization of Haiti and Haitian people. Majority of the country speaks Kreyol. but the ruling class speaks French, and the only thing you're taught to learn in school is French.
Oh my
so that you can't, if you have a struggling child who only speaks Kreyol, it's like you're not learning subjects in your own language. So it's for Haitian kids to have the brilliant education that they have in another language is amazing. It's like all the ESL speakers here, you know?
I mean, we're going to wrap, but I think it's just really interesting how, first of all, audience, you're welcome, because through me getting scolded, y'all got a history lesson on that. So you're welcome. But no, that I didn't even know about that. Audience, now you see why you don't want to miss any play,
come see some
musical,
Haitians.
film, book, op-ed, Instagram post, Dominique, Morisseau.
Bring your cousins. It's a show about cousins.
Amazing.
Bring your cousins and your family, and come see what we really eat, because we actually have our food on stage.
Good. And then I want to make sure that we know the end date so everyone can make sure they get to it.
It goes through December 1st. So
oh my God, perfect time for the holidays.
Sure. Yeah.
Everybody's coming for the holiday time period.
That's right.
Go get tickets to this show, and I mean that, audience. Dominique, I love you.
I love you back.
Congratulations. I love you too, Mom, for creating this beautiful human being. Until next time, folks, peace. I would try to say something in Kreyol, but I know I'm going to butcher it, so I'm just going to say.
You can say sac passe.
Sac passe. We out? Peace.